Welcome back, traders, as we continue our 2024 backtesting series. We're now in the month of November, so only 2 more months until we're finished. Now, last week we did go into November on Friday, and I did mention that this could have been NFP Friday. It was a little weird because, well, the first week only consists of the Friday. So considering the price action last week was pretty choppy, I'm gonna have to assume that Friday was NFP and not really worry about it going into this week of backtesting. I will be backtesting November 4th through the 8th this time, and let's go ahead and take a look at the weekly chart. So I have been really focused on the weekly SIBI here and the weekly BISI. So last week we did take out the highs up here. I think this was relative equal highs here, and then we came back down into this weekly SIBI and poked back into the weekly BISI. So here it is. You can make a note for yourself, but when we drop down to the daily, as I'm going to do right now, I'm going to be taking these away, and I want to focus more on daily inefficiency. So here was that weekly. As you can see, we had this pretty big drop after sweeping the buy side, creating relative equal highs here. We swept the buy side, and then with this big drop down, I kind of feel like we're going to be heading a little bit lower, and I'm not really going to be too concerned about this weekly SIBI and also this weekly BISI. I'm going to go ahead and just get rid of it to clear up the charts a little bit. But this purple here, you'll note on the weekly, we do have that volume imbalance. So there was actually a pretty big void here. Well, not void, but a volume imbalance where there was no bodies, the candle bodies overlapping here, only the wicks. So I'm still going to keep this in mind on the weekly chart. But jumping down to the daily, I think we could be heading for this volume imbalance. We do have sell side liquidity below these relative equal lows with this buy side sweep and then this displacement to the downside, creating a market structure shift. I think we could be going lower, at least for the beginning of the week. I still have not given up on all-time highs, but I think the next place price wants to go is this volume balance below the sell side down here. Now, also, I want to note that we do have a daily SIBI. So I'm going to go ahead and mark this in. This is going to be pretty important, I think, going into this week. I think we can go up into that daily SIBI and then test whether or not it will be used as resistance in order to push us down lower for that weekly volume imbalance. All right, so now jumping into Monday, November 4th, 8 o'clock in the morning. This right here is that daily SIBI that you saw on the earlier time frame. But also, if you zoom in, I'm looking at this big drop here, and this is a 1 hour chart. So this is a 1 hour SIBI here. And we did go into it last week on Friday, went to about 50% of it halfway, and then pretty much just consolidated in the lower half. Didn't really get to the upper half. I think this could be enough. I mean, we could possibly sweep this high, but I think if we're going to go down, if we're going to be bearish, we don't need to take out this high. We do have relative equal highs here, so I will mark this out as a potential short-term buy-side liquidity pool. And other than that, we have relative equal lows here, relative equal lows here, so those are good targets. And of course, the sell-side liquidity on the higher time frame, along with that weekly volume imbalance, are going to be the prime target going into the near future. But there is a possibility that we take out this high, because then we will be going into this daily SIBI, and that could be good enough to push us down lower. I don't necessarily want to see this high taken though, so I'll kind of think of this as like my last line of defense. Kind of, I mean, I guess we could, but I don't really see any reason that we need to go back above all of these highs here. So here's the 15-minute chart. Before I drop down to a 5-minute and start walking through, my idea on this Monday is that we make a rally up for these relative equal highs. We sweep it, and then we make a market structure shift to the downside, going for these relative equal lows down here. So I'm waiting for a sweep of this liquidity. We may or may not take out this high. I don't really care if we do or not, honestly. So we'll just wait. I'm waiting for a sweep of this high, I think, and then we can go for the sell side. Now, we may not do that. We do have a 15-minute SIBI here that we did work into. At 8:30, we could just have a drop down for the sell side. If that's the case, I don't know, maybe today we may go up for the buy side and tomorrow we head for the sell side. I think we're gonna have to just pay attention to what happens at 8:30 and 9:30. All right, so at 9:30 we did make a drop for the sell side. excuse me, clicked the wrong thing. Okay, so we did make a drop for the sell side, which I'll put as a dotted line now. And if we just zoom out a little bit, you can see the sell side were these relative equal lows here. Now, if we go ahead and take out this sell side, I don't know, I guess as long as we don't get a reversal for the highs here, I think this is okay. We can go ahead and perhaps wait for a confirmation fair value gap. If this SIBI develops, we can wait for a price to retrace back into here. Once we get a confirmation fair value gap, we can go short. Ideally, we don't take out the sell side before that happens, but we'll see in the next 30 minutes or so. All right, and like I said, as long as we don't get some kind of a reversal, we did not take it to the sell side, which is okay. We do have relative equal lows now, but with this big rally up above the 930 opening candle down here, I think this will be a time to go ahead and go for the sell or the buy side up here. And kind of what I'm thinking, if I'm thinking about power of 3, is that this just clearing out a little bit of sell side in order to go and then this rally up for the relative equal highs. This is going to be the Judas swing. We're going to go ahead and take out, this is going to be the manipulative move, taking out the buy side in order to accumulate shorts, and then the real move will come to come down and take out the sell side and go for our higher time frame sell side liquidity pool. That's kind of my idea, but if you are aware of this, both directions actually tradable. You can come here for a confirmation fair value gap and look for a rally up and perhaps take partials above this high. It may not cross these, but I mean, it looks pretty good. So I will want to see if we can take out the buy side, and this will be it. I will take my trade off. I don't want to, push it up even higher because longer term, I'm thinking sell side. So I think right now we're going to wait to see if we get a confirmation fair value gap to the upside, and I guess we go ahead and take a long if that should happen. All right, so you can see price did consolidate a little bit, but we came back into this SIBI. Now this kind of is like a Venom setup. If you've been paying attention to the ICT lectures, we have one down candle going through sell side of 50 and then a one candle move up. So this is kind of like a Venom model. I could have went ahead and just taken the very first fair value gap here, but the risk, I would have had an entry here at 107, and my risk would probably have been down here at this candle. So this would have been a 67-point risk. I thought it was way too wide, so I didn't went ahead and take it. I wanted to wait for a confirmation fair value gap, which we got here. So now I'm going to go ahead and have my stop loss down here. And I'm going to go ahead and put in an entry. Now this fair value gap has not done forming yet, so technically my entry is down here. However, I will put an entry up here as well if we go ahead and pick it up by creating a fair value gap up here. So and I also like how we didn't take out this high just yet, so we could come down to be it picked up, and then we'll be looking for this high and those equal highs up there. Now if I look at my risk here, from this first fair value gap to my risk is quite wide, about 67 points of risk, so still quite a lot. I would really like it if we can just come down into this one, but we'll see. If we do get a little bit of a lower close on that fair value gap, I can go ahead and try just one contract. All right, so we do have a lower close on that fair value gap, and I do get picked up here. I'm entered in long at 169, stop loss at 117. So 52 points of risk, but only one contract. I'm looking for price to rally up for these relative equal highs. That's where I'm going to take it off. And should we go above this high, that's pretty much where I want to be moving my stop loss to break even. So we're going to make it a yellow. If we cross that yellow line, I'm going to go ahead and move to at least break even. All right, so 11:15, we do get above this high here. We've crossed the yellow line, so I'm going to go ahead and move my stop to at least break even. And I'm not exactly sure where I want it. Probably this swing low, this previous swing low. I kind of want to see this fair value gap remain intact. Unfortunately, this candle is still developing, but if we get a fair value gap here, this will be an order block, and I would not want to see price go below here. So I'm moving my stop up to here, although you could just keep it like close to your entry. But I'm going to be a little risky here and try to move my stop down here, hoping that this fair value gap remains intact. And I'm going to take my trade off above those relative equal highs. All right, so unfortunately, price did not create a fair value gap. We did reverse after taking out this high. I anticipate that this could have been an issue. Another thing I could have done was went ahead and taken my trade off up here. This would have given me about 42 points of risk, so a little bit less than 101. But I really thought, you know, we could go off with these relative equal highs. It looked very flat and like we wanted to go up there. But alas, we're coming back down. Looks like we may be sweeping this low, and potentially this fair value gap could hold up. But I did went ahead and get stopped out here for a very, very small win. I'm going to go ahead and record it, and then we'll continue with the morning action. I don't think I'm going to have another trade because it is getting close to 11:30, so only about like 40 minutes left in my time window anyways. We'll see what develops, but probably not going to be making a trade since we are getting close to lunchtime. Okay, so it is 12:15. My trading window is done. We never really got any bounce for these relative equal highs. It looked really good, but we just took out this high and then we started dropping. Also note that this pump above this high went back into this, remember this red was a 1 hour fair value gap. We go back out to the 1 hour chart. It was this 1 hour fair value gap. So we did poke above this high, went into that 1 hour fair value gap, probably just to reclaim it. And now we are dropping lower. I think in the afternoon, we can go down below those relative equal lows. However, if you look at this drop here on the 5 minute, you didn't really have any place that you could have had a good entry. Yeah, maybe right here, but there was a lot of inefficiencies here. It could have very well bounced up more. So you didn't really know where to put your risk or even have a really good risk to reward. So anyways, I don't really feel like I missed out on anything. I thought I did a pretty good job. It just didn't work out. At least I got stopped out with a little bit of green. And let's go ahead and take a look at the end of the action. I really do think we're going to be taking out these relative equal lows here, which we did not. We bounced back up, and like I said, a lot of inefficiencies here. It may want to rebalance, which it did in the afternoon, and then pretty much just consolidated and closed here, kind of close to the 9:30 opening. So another day where it's very indecisive. Even though there were big moves up and down, ultimately it closed pretty close to where it opened up, so a very indecisive day. And I said last week that we could be still having an indecisive week because November 2024 is the election day. I believe the election is going to end this week sometime. I don't remember exactly when, or it could be next week. I don't really remember, but yeah, that may be a cause of the indecisiveness. Okay, so going into the next day, Tuesday, November 5th. 8 o'clock in the morning, I got the sell side down here below these relative equal lows. The relative equal highs yesterday, we didn't take it, so it's still there for us. Just pretty much just a lot of consolidation overnight. And then there's a possibility we do go above this high back into this daily CB, and then we can see whether or not we're going to get displacement to the downside. All right, so just before 9:30, we're pretty much consolidating here. I know it kind of looks like a lot of movement if we zoom down, you know, closer, like for here, for instance. But when you zoom out, I was looking at the buy side above here and the sell side down here. On the 1 hour, it looked like pretty tight consolidation, but you will notice that the range here is like 240 points of range between the sell side and the buy side. And then looking a little bit closer on the 5 minute, we do have a short-term buy side here with these relative equal highs. This drop did take out this swing low and this swing low, but we do have a little bit more sell side to go. I would say this will be a nice sell side liquidity pool on the short term because we do have a fair value gap here along with relative equal lows. Now we're going to go ahead and see what 9:30 does. I'm anticipating we rally up for the buy side. At least these relative highs don't necessarily have to go for these relative highs all the way up there, but we could even poke into like the lower portion of that 1 hour CB. But I'm looking for a sweep of the buy side, and then I want to aim for shorts going down for these relative equal lows. That'll probably be a first partial, and then we'll see if we can get down all the way below these lows and hit this relative equal low on the 1 hour time frame. Okay, so far so good. We did rally up above the short-term buy side, hit that 1 hour CB again, and now I want to see a reversal to the downside. I want to see a CB, maybe a confirmation CB. We could go back up to take out the buy side, and we did. We even went up to take the daily. Sorry, we went back into this. It's going to be the daily CB. I'm going to go ahead and remove the 1 hour so you can see that this red line is going to be the CB on the daily chart. And we went above these relative equal highs as well. So I guess potentially could have tried for this, but I was looking for shorts. I wasn't really looking for price to go up higher, and I want to see a reversal. I don't want to see this high get taken. If we do start trading above this daily SIBI, then I guess we'll have to change our bias. But right now, as we are in the lower half, we're in the bottom portion of this daily SIBI, I'm still looking for lower prices, actually. Looking for lower prices, looking for the sell side liquidity to get into, and also this volume imbalance on the weekly. If you remember back on the first few minutes of this video, we have that weekly volume imbalance. All right, so we consolidated around the low of that daily fair value gap, and now potentially we are creating our very first SIBI in the day. Do I want to take this? Not really, because you can see this high and then this lower high and this lower high kind of building up a little bit of buy side liquidity, so we could go up there and dig into the daily SIBI a little bit more. What I'd like to see is confirmation on this fair value gap, because this drop down, even though you can say, hey, we have a market structure shift here, it's going down into this inefficiency and could very well bounce up a little bit higher. So I'm going to give it a little bit more time. If we get confirmation, then yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take the confirmation fair value gap. All right, and like I said, I didn't want to take this short here. That was a good decision. We did rally up to take out this high and pretty much just kind of consolidate a little bit, and then we ended up in the morning at a high of the day so far. Let's go ahead and take a look at the end of the day. So no trades today, but at the end of the day, we can see consolidation at the lower portion of the daily SIBI, created a relative equal high, and then at the close, we went ahead and took that out before ending the day. So that's pretty much it on Tuesday. Let's go ahead and jump into Wednesday, and we'll still be looking for shorts as long as we remain in the lower half of that daily fair value gap, which we did not overnight. Big rally up. Now that we are above this daily fair value gap, I'm looking for this to be inversion now and looking for price to go up for the buy side. So let me go ahead and zoom out to, like, let's say a 4-hour chart. I don't really think these relative equal lows are going to get traded into. This looks pretty good, so I'm going to just leave it here for now. Maybe I'll come back to it later in the week, but right now we're going to take a look at the 4-hour. And now that we're above this daily SIBI, I'm looking for price to use it as support and looking for the buy side above these relative equal highs, and of course the all-time high now. And as long as we remain above this daily SIBI, I think, yeah, we're gonna go and have a bullish bias. Now short term, we do have buy side up here. This dip down lower, I'm gonna go into a 15-minute. This dip down lower is okay. We went into this inefficiency, this order block, so I don't care if we see another sweep below this low or not. Now let's go ahead and go into the 1 hour. Yeah, I really don't care. I mean, we balanced this inefficiency and then we went into this inefficiency, so good enough. We could come down and go into 50% of this wick. That's certainly possible. We'll mark it out, but just in case it comes into play, it may not. I don't really expect it to. So I think this is good enough. Now for the short term, if we do have a sweep, I want to see price go down below this low, and this low is okay as well. Oops. I don't really want to see it go much lower than that because we have a fair value gap here. I think we could come back into here, and that is good enough. I want to see price displace higher from there, and we have a buy side target here, and over there will be our second partial. All right, so at 9:30, you can see that price was grinding down and a lot of choppy action here, but we did go down below this low. Didn't take this one out, but that's okay. We can see displacement at the 9:30 open. We went above this buy side already, but that's okay. We have higher time frame buy side above here. There's a lot more liquidity up there, so I'll be aiming for that. Now, in terms of risk, though, I think this may be quite a bit. I don't know if I'll be able to take this trade, but suppose I have my entry here at 721. 654 will be the risk, so that's going to be close to 70 points of risk, which is quite a lot. I think I'm going to do something that I haven't done in a while, is look for 50% of this fair value gap. If we could get into 50%, perhaps that will be a reasonable risk here. From 707 to that would be 53 points of risk. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and see if we can take an entry here, and this may be lower depending on how this 5-minute candle closes. And of course, if we take out the buy side already, I'm gonna go ahead and cancel my trade. All right, so we did take out this buy side, so I'm not too thrilled about that. I'm not gonna have a trade going on now. We could be heading a little bit lower below this sell side here, and we may be aiming for 50% of that 1 hour wick. So yeah, just gonna have to wait now. And I will try and get in if we come back into this inefficiency and create a confirmation fair value gap. Looking at the 4-hour time frame, we still have all-time highs here, so we could be aiming for that today. In order for that to happen, I need to see respect of those fair value gap. And as you can see, we don't get that. We went through the order block, we went through this fair value gap like it was butter. So now I'm kind of turning my attention back to the sell side. We may potentially go down below here. So there's a potential trade for a short, aiming for 50% of that lower wick on the 1 hour chart. And if we go ahead and take our entry here with this fair value gap, it is the first fair value gap, but you can see this run up, this run down, kind of creating a balanced price range. We may not come back up here. And I don't really want to, I don't expect to see price go through the balanced price range. So I'm going to go ahead and see what the risk is going to be if I have my risk above the order block. Clear this out, that's confusing here, 793. Oof, that's going to be close to 100 points of risk. What I could do is lower this up here, this candle, right? There's a little bit of a balanced price range here as well, and of course these two inefficiencies create the balanced price range. I don't want to see price go through it. You can even be risky and put it all the way down here. That would be 735 versus where I'm thinking at 758. So this is going to be a little bit more, like 23 points more. But from here to there, let's see, that's going to be 63 points of risk, which is a little bit much. I'm going to go ahead and try one contract, and I'm looking for price to come all the way down here, which will give me, you know, better than 101. So I think it's worth giving it a shot. Okay, so we didn't actually work out. This trade didn't work out. I thought with this wick down here, when it wicked up into this fair value gap and it came back down, I thought we were going to have a pretty good chance, but instead we created another BISI here after sweeping out this low. So this could be the real move if we get a confirmation fair value gap. If we come back down to, I guess they already went down to this one, but we could also come back down to here and create a confirmation fair value gap. I guess we can try going bullish again. Even though we swept the buy side liquidity, it was only by a little bit. So maybe it wants a higher drive and maybe even going for all-time highs. So gonna go flip back to bullish, and we'll be looking for longs to see if we can go for the all-time highs today. But yeah, anyways, took a loss here, and we have one more shot on our second trade. Let's see if we can get a confirmation fair value gap. Okay, so it is 10:30. Technically, we do have in our fair value gap. I'm going to zoom in a little bit, but I would just kind of want to look at exactly what has happened so far in the morning. We had a big rally up to take out the buy side, came back down, and I thought with this fair value gap, we're going to go down even lower. If we're going to go lower, I thought this would definitely be a prime time to do it. But then we started going back up again. So seeing a rally up, rally down, rally up, this whole entire range here is kind of like a balanced price range. So since we're on the upper half of it, I don't really want to see price go back down. It doesn't really make sense for us to go all the way down unless it's seek and destroy. Like unless it's seek and destroy and we're going to go here. This downward mover also swept a little bit of the sell side. Even this, well, it got really close here. So a little iffy. Also, this fair value gap is kind of small. But if we zoom in here, we technically do have a fair value gap, as you can see, right? Right here, there's a little gap there. And if we do take a long here, I will put my stop down here. It's just that we've already taken the buy side. There's a potential we could come down for this swing low and come into this fair value gap. It's a pretty tough decision here. It is 28 points of risk. Let me go ahead and look at the spreadsheet. Okay, so here on the spreadsheet, you can see that, let me see if I adjust this a little bit. So you can see I took that loss earlier. It was about 1% risk here. Took the full stop. Now, if I do one contract at this entry here as a long, I will be risking close to 0.5%. So it does fall within my risk limit. it's just I'm a little concerned that it won't work out. I don't know. I could wait and see if we can come down here and then create another fair value gap, or I can go ahead and take this one. There's another possibility where I do this, get stopped out, and I can look for a third trade. I know the rules are like I'm only supposed to take 2 trades a day, so if I take this one, there's a potential that I could try a third trade and break that rule for today. I don't really want to do that. You know, I'm arguing with myself. Is it better to just let this one go and not break my rules, or potentially miss out on a pretty good trade here? It is within my risk limits. I don't know what happens ahead, so I got to make a decision now before I start skipping ahead. And I think I'm going to go ahead and try one contract here. I'm going to go ahead and try it. We went down, balanced price range, we went back up, and I said I want to see a confirmation fair value gap. Technically, we did get it here. We supported the fair value gap here, went up, created a small fair value gap. I'm going to go ahead and give it a shot and aggressively move my stop up. So if we do go above this high, I'm going to move it to break even. Just be very aggressive with my stop loss placement, because I understand that there is a possibility of us going back into equilibrium. Okay, and just as I feared, we pretty much went back down. Looks like we may be coming into this fair value gap. If this gives us a confirmation, maybe I will consider taking one more trade, but technically I already have 2 losses today. This may just do it for the model. I guess I'm just going to skip ahead a little bit and see exactly how price plays out. Okay, so this is 12:15, my end of my time window, and just to take a look at the morning action, we did come back into equilibrium. Look at this fair value gap. I was thinking that this one was going to play a role as support. We did go into it, wick down a little bit lower. However, we did start having displacement. There was a fair value gap here. Now, you could have considered this as a confirmation fair value gap. Have your entry here and your risk down here. Would have been a 40, close to 40 points, not quite risk. And then we could be aiming for the new high of the day. And then perhaps you could take a partial and come back up here, or even just move your stop loss up. But alas, I didn't do it. I went ahead and decided to just stick with my rules. I had 2 losses, so I didn't do any more trades today. Even down here, you could have tried to enter into this fair value gap, but I went ahead and just took the L today, and we'll take a look at the price action at the end of the day. We did slowly trend upward, and then yeah, just gonna have to take 2 L's today, and we'll go ahead and just move on to Thursday morning, and hopefully we'll do better tomorrow. All right, so Thursday morning, 8 o'clock already, we took out the all-time high here. And this is a 4-hour chart, so we already took out the all-time high. I'm gonna go ahead and zoom in on the 1 hour. Right here, you can see that we pretty much just grinded up quite slowly. I mean, this jab down here into this fair value gap, the inversion fair value gap, was pretty nice here. Could have went ahead and took a trade on the 1 hour, but I was, in on the 5 minute. I didn't quite see this very clearly. And if you go to the 5 minute, you'll see. Plus, it was not really in my time window actually. So this little drop down here was what I was talking about. But anyways, if you look at the price action here on the 5 minute, a lot of consolidation, but we did take out the new all-time high. And I'm going to go down to a 15 minutes to look at our liquidity pool here. And I'm not seeing much. We did take out the buy side. Sell side would be down here, I would say. A lot of consolidation, but we could ultimately go higher. And going down to a 5 minute, just to zoom in. Relative equal lows down here. But we do have this little inefficiency, so I would say it'll be enough if we take out the swing low and go into this inefficiency, and then we start seeing some displacement upward. I think that would be a good point to start looking for some long entries. Okay, so it is 8:55, just before 9 o'clock. Now, originally I was thinking like we want to probably go below this low, go back to this inefficiency. I saw it was dropping here. We went through multiple fair value gaps, but then we kind of consolidate a little bit and we do create another fair value gap here. So you kind of see this as an inversion fair value gap, or not inversion, this is a confirmation fair value gap, confirming, excuse me, confirming the imbalance here. We did go into this order block. It's a little iffy. If you look at this previous SIBI, you can see the bodies respecting the SIBI. Anyways, my whole thing is saying that potentially this could be a trade here, even though it is before 9:30. We may not be coming down for the sell side here if we're going to be very strong bullish. So I'm going to go ahead and try take one here with the risks being about only 20 points, right? So not a very big risk. My only concern is, am I going to take one or two contracts? You know, two contracts will give me about 40 points of risk. It is also before 9:30, so in 9:30 we could come back down and swipe the sell side and come back to this inefficiency. So I'm going to go ahead and try for a long here, even though the price is all the way down here. I'm counting my entry all the way up here, just to be fair. I'm going to go ahead and do one contract because I am concerned that the 9:30 volatility may come and take out sell side. So just one contract, just getting a feel for it. Well, if we go above this high, I'll look to move my stop to probably break even, you know, just to lock it in, and hopefully we'll get some volatility at 9:30 in our direction. So okay, so already we before 9:30 is only 9:06. We did start creating, we went up above this high, and it looks like we could potentially create a new a fair value gap. I'm going to move my stop up, but not to break even. I'm actually going to just move it down to this low for now. What I want to see is, I want to see this fair value gap remain open. Like, I don't want to see it closing all the way. We could potentially drop into here, maybe even down here a little bit, and then I want to start seeing more displacement. If I see a second displacement, then I'll move it to break even for sure. But just reducing the risk a little bit here, this is going to give me less than 10 points of risk, and I think this is going to be the proper stop. I tend to have a issue where I move my stop too quickly, so I'm trying to be a little bit patient here. Still have some risk on, but I'm going to just reduce it by a little bit. Okay, so this is looking pretty good. We have this fair value gap remain intact. Now, technically here I could move my stop to break even, but again, I don't want to fall into the bad habit of moving my stop too quickly. There's still a chance we come back into this fair value gap, maybe even wick through here a little bit, so I would get stopped out. So I'm just going to be patient, wait for another high. I think if we can take out another high or create another displacement, then definitely for sure I can move my stop to break even. Now I don't know how high we can go because we are at all-time highs above this high. So not exactly sure. I think what we can do is this last sweep down here, we can run a projection and let's see if we can, you know, get any information out of it. So if we do a projection here, if you look, I'm gonna go up to the 1 hour and hopefully that will look a little bit better. Okay, so that projection, and then we're just gonna look over here. We have the -1 standard deviation up here in this red line, but it's a little hard to see 50%. We have this dotted gray line. I'm gonna just make it a little bit brighter here. This is kind of like the next thing I'm aiming for, so I think this will be a good target. So I'm actually going to go ahead and turn it into a green color just so we understand that I'm looking for price to come up here on a projection. May or may not happen, but I think at all-time highs what you can do is just trail your stop up and just let it see how far it can run, and then take your profits once it comes down and stops you out. So chart acting up a little bit, but bear with me guys. Okay, so it looks like the chart's working again, and just zooming in a little bit, we're getting close to 9:30. It's a little bit before it, and you can see this dropped out. I anticipate that there's a potential we go down for this low, go down for these lows, so I could get stopped out, but I'll just be stopped out for 10 points. It's a very small risk. What I want to see is price use this fair value gap or this order block or Okay, here we go, here we go, here we go. Okay, so looking at the spreadsheet here, it is close to 10 to 1, right? It was 9.6 to 1, entered at 20,985 and took it off at 21,178. So close to 200 points, guys. Biggest trade ever in this backtesting series. Definitely. How much was it in total actually? $383. Like I said, I've been having a lot of losses, but this one win definitely made up for all these losses. So yes, very, very nice. A 3% win today. Very, very happy. You guys saw it. I almost, like when the price was right here, I almost just decided to just take it off, right? But I did trail my stop. I was at least 101, right? So I would be happy anyways if we did get stopped out, because I'm thinking if we did get stopped out, we could be going for these relative equal lows, right? So definitely just waited, be patient, and once we created another run up, I went ahead and moved my stop down here, thinking that this fair value gap should hold up, which it did. Consolidated for a while, but we did hold up, create another fair value gap, and this was when I started to be a little bit more aggressive with my stop loss placement. I should have just moved it up to here, but I decided to go up to the low of this fair value gap, looking for it to hold up. Got very close to stopped out. Even if I got stopped out here, I would have been okay, because this still was a pretty big R, and eventually we just let it go, and then it hit our target before 12 o'clock. So I'm just gonna go straight into the end of day to take a look at what has happened, and then we'll move on to Friday. I don't necessarily have to trade because this was a pretty good win. I'm very happy with this. Consolidated a little bit more, went up, and then consolidated again. So you can see this minus 0.5 projection was a pretty good target. After we hit this, pretty much consolidation afterwards, right? We didn't really get any big runs. You don't really see any big fair value gaps after this. So anyways, very, very nice, very happy. We will go to the next day. All right, so this is Friday morning, November 8th. I did took a quick break. You know, I just got back, and I did notice that I've been streaming some music in the background left over from my live stream. So I apologize if the music is a little too loud. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Also, let me know what is a good like an audio managing software or something that I can use for, like, you know, streaming or video recording, because I didn't really notice this. I'm just kind of doing it straight from the OBS that I'm recording on. But yeah, let me know in the comments if you guys got any advice. But let's go ahead and go into Friday, November 8th. We had a big win yesterday, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. You know, we're at all-time highs. Let's go ahead and jump out to the 4-hour to kind of take a look at the lay of the land. I'm doing this projection. We've reached 0.5 standard deviation here. I guess the next target we go for is -1 right here in the red. However, you know, because we're at all-time highs, I think trading is going to be a little bit tough. Don't want to get too ahead of ourselves and, like, you know, go big size. I think if I make any trades from now on at all-time highs, like going long, I want to just do one contract, no matter how big or how small the risk is. Just want to be a little bit more conservative. So what I'm looking at is the relative equal lows down here, but this 1-hour fair value gap, this is kind of where I'm looking at for price to come back down into and then bounce off. If you zoom in here, you can see that this is the largest fair value gap in this run on the 1-hour chart. So if price dipped down into here, let's say I take out the sell side in this recent swing low that it created over here, come down there into the 1-hour and then create a setup, we'll be looking for price to go up for the buy side up here. And of course, that -1 standard deviation, we can look to see how far it gets up there, but it's going to be tough to say. I may do another smaller projection here to aim for like a symmetrical swing. All right, so just before 9:30, as you can see, pretty much just a lot of consolidation. But if we take a closer look, we don't necessarily have to go below this low. I mean, of course, if we do, I'll be expecting price to come down to this 1 hour fair value gap. But if you look from here to here, we do have relative equal lows, right? There was some sell side here. We poked through it. We poked through it at 9 o'clock with this down candle, this little wick, and then we created a fair value gap here before 9:30 open. So I'm actually looking to take a long here. We'll give it another shot. Maybe we'll get wicked in, but I don't want to see this low get taken. If it does, we could be heading down over here. As long as we don't take out this high first. If we take out the high before we get entered, I'm going to go ahead and just cancel the trade. And then of course my risk is going to be below here. I don't want to see this get taken. So let's quickly take a look at the risk here. It's going to be only about 16 points of risk. So very small risk, but still, like I said before, just taking one contract as we are at all-time highs. I'm not going to show. I mean, wait, what a small risk though. I could potentially take 2 contracts and look to take one off if we take out this high, and then see if we hold the other one for this high here. So I think, you know what? I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and try and take 2 contracts. I'm going to go ahead and clean this up a little bit. So I'm aiming for that -1 projection, but we'll take 2 contracts. I'm going to go against my word here. It was such a small risk, 16 points, 2 contracts. That'll be 32 points of risk. And yeah, let's go ahead and give that a shot before 9:30. We'll see whether or not we can get swiped in. If we do take out the buy side though, I'm going to go ahead and just cancel the trade. So 2% risk is still under a 0.5%, which yeah, it's going to be a small risk. I think instead of just 1 contract, I'll keep the risk at 0.5. So anyways, let's go ahead and take a look at 9:30. Do we get swiped in? If we take out the buy side, I'm going to go ahead and cancel the trade. So no trades here. And we do have this fair value gap is rather large, but it does make sense for us to go up there. So if, for example, we take, let's say here, and our risk is down here, that's going to be close to 30 points of risk. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit. 15-minute. I don't know, because this rally up here goes into these inefficiencies. There's a chance we can come back down for this 1 hour fair value gap. So I'm going to forego this rally here. This could be a false swing, and we may go down lower. If that's the case, if we do go down lower, I want to take a short aiming for that 1 hour fair value gap. So let's go ahead and just move forward and see. If we do get a confirmation fair value gap to the upside, then perhaps I'll look to take a long. But right now it looks like we're just kind of consolidating. So here we have a small fair value gap potentially. Not excited to take the very first one. If we get a confirmation though, then yeah, we can go for the confirmation fair value gap. Okay, so this is actually a bit better because we have 2 fair value gaps with a volume balance. So I actually would be willing to take this here. And so like, for example, we enter short here, and I have my risk, let's say above, this will give me, let's see, 16, so 32 points of risk. Let's go ahead and give this a shot with just 1 contract. And I'm looking for price. If we go down below this low here, that will be close to 101. I'll move my stop to break even, hopefully. And then I'm looking really for this swing low to get taken, going back to a 1 hour. If we take out this low, we're actually going to go probably into this 1 hour fair value gap. So that's kind of what I'm looking for, hopefully, as my best case scenario. All right, so a little choppy, but it looks like we may be running down lower. And if that is the case, okay, it's still going to chop around a little bit. I may get stopped out here. It is a Friday. I could have always just taken it out break even here and just wait a little bit longer. Not looking so great, Okay, so yeah, we did get stopped out. A little unfortunate. I was actually going to say that if we go down below here, I may just take it off close to 101. But alas, we got stopped out. So yep, taking a small little loss. Let me go ahead and adjust the numbers. It was a short. I guess I shouldn't have fought against the. What was this? Oh, that was the previous trade that I thought about. But went ahead and canceled. Anyways, like I was saying, since we're at all-time highs, I was kind of fighting against the trend, right? I was trying to short, but really I should be looking for longs. Either way, took a close to 0.5% loss. And with the time being very close to noon, I don't think I'm going to be doing another trade today on Friday. Friday, I actually anticipate us just to consolidate for the rest of the morning, but we'll take a look at the end of the action before closing this video out. So we did take out the high, but again, pretty much just consolidating here at equilibrium. One thing before I let you guys go, we'll take a look at the end of the day, but I want to say that yesterday we had a really big move. So even though we were consolidating here, we did go up for the high, and yeah, as you can see, you don't want to be fighting against the higher time frame trend. And what I wanted to say was yesterday we had a big move. So Thursday was right here and we rallied up. Because we had a big day, a big rally, even like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you can see we went up a lot. So after we had really big moves, you could expect consolidation to follow up. So that was one of the things I did wrong today. I should have just been a little bit more conservative, maybe even consider not taking a trade and thinking that we are going to be consolidating after such a big move. But anyways, we did get a really good, almost 10-to-1 reward to risk. Thank you again for coming back for this backtesting series. We have just a little bit more to go. Let's see, probably 7 more weeks, for the rest of November and December, and that will do it for 2024. And I'll give you guys the results. So until then, guys, safe trading.